So hi all, welcome back to my channel and I hope you guys are doing good. So for today we're going to be talking about a brand new launch. I think Colorbar kind of took a leap and they did something which is a little different and a little more fun, and it kind of looks really exciting too. So we're going to be trying these products and see whether it's worth the hype. So I'm going to be giving you my thoughts, my review, a little bit of a tutorial here and there in the middle and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for the entire review and let me know what are your thoughts about it down in the comment section below. So before we move to the eyeshadow palette, a quick review of the Colorbar Active Swimproof Mascara. I kind of like this. I just tried this about 2 times and with my opinion, this is basically waterproof and I love the wand in this. The wand is just simply amazing. Like, it's super skinny, it's very small, and it works great to fit into all of the nooks and crannies, and at the same time it also gives you beautiful length and curl. It does not give you any volume, but it gives you a very beautiful length and curl. So if you're looking for something like that, I think this would be a perfect buy for it. So moving on to the next product, which is the Colorbar Wink with Love 14 Hours Stay Liner. This is basically a pen liner, and I use this to do my the inner corner and the entire liner today, and I think this went on beautifully well. It's stuck on top of shimmer, which usually pen liners kind of fail at doing, so I think this works really great for that too. It's super pigmented, it looks great, and it's basically matte finished and it just looks great and it glides on very smoothly. So first impressions, I do like this. I really haven't tried and tested it out long about like how long it wears and all those things, so I really can't give you an honest opinion about it. So let me know whether you want it. I would just kind of like drop it down in the comment section below if you're interested. So let's just move on to what we're all here for, which is the eyeshadow palette, and this one is in the shade Berry Blush, and this one contains 12 shades of eyeshadow, and each pan has 1.5 grams of product, which in my opinion is a decent amount of product for an eyeshadow palette. And this one is formulated in Italy, which is a little good, and I'm guessing that the quality should relatively be a little better because it's formulated in Italy, but it is manufactured in India. So I kind of like the vibe of it, being an Indian palette. So let's see how it goes, and let's just kind of break down the points as we usually do, and let's start off. Let's talk about packaging first, and I do not get the outer container because this came in a PR kit, and when you look at the palette by itself, it has Colorbar written on it, it has Jacqueline's name and all that stuff, so they've kind of jazzed it up a little bit. So when you open up the packaging, for some reason it kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury's packaging, and it looks very, very, very similar to that. Not just that, including some of the colors in it. You can just check out the Charlotte Tilbury's holiday collection and you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. So this one has a really good sized mirror inside it, and it comes with a brush too. I'll talk about the brush in a while, and it has all the 12 pans which are basically laid out. So that is with the packaging. So we've covered the basic things about the palette, and let's move on to the color story. So when you look at the color story, every third shade in the palette is basically a matte. So you have a matte here, a here, and here. So you have 4 mattes, and the rest of them are basically your shimmers. So 12 minus 4, 8 are your shimmers in the palette. So this palette is called as a berry blush palette. Okay, I do not see any berries in this except for these two and maybe a tint of this and this. So this part is a little bit of a khaki and there's a little bit of a warm tone going on here, but there is no wines or magentas or berries, or there are no such colors like that. So I don't know why this is called as a berry blush palette, but nevertheless, I would say that it gives you a good range of shimmers. If you're a person who has other matte eyeshadow palettes, you're just looking for something with an added family of shimmers, which has golds, a little bit of pinks, a little bit of khakis, and a little bit of like a couple of neutral colors like bronzes and all this stuff, you would like this. So the biggest problem is you have only this matte, which is used for darkening and deepening, which is what I have today, and you have another one over here. So these two are cool tones, and they're more on the greenish brown black side. So this one is basically a greenish brown black, even though it looks extremely light on the pan. When you swatch it, it has a greenish black color, and the other one is a very top kind of a color. So it's a cool tone brown. So these two will work really well, and I like the fact that this one is really dark because I really like a good, a good intensity giving eyeshadow in my palettes. But other than that, I don't know where this one fits in. This is basically, it's kind of like a pinky purple, and I don't know where this one fits in, because this one I can't use without another shade to blend it out, and this one and this one are super close to each other. Like, I don't see the difference between this shade and the first matte shade. So that was a little contradicting. So maybe they could have removed this and they could have given a very, like a very pinky nude shade. That would be great in this place. Or they could have even replaced it with a warmer tone, because you have so many warm eyeshadows. So maybe put a warm peach or a warm terracotta or something like that into the palette. So talking about the shimmers in this palette, only the first one is a little bit of a lackluster shade. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's more of a satin finish, and this would work great as a brow bone highlight, as an inner corner highlight, because I don't like that to be very strong. So this works for it. And other than that, all the other shimmers in the palette are all more on the foiled to sparkly side. So that finish which it gives is something which I absolutely love, because I don't see any other drugstore brand making a formulation like this. So if you ask me, do I like the color story? I would say yes. I love khakis. I love cool tones. So if you're someone who has my kind of vibe, then maybe you would love this palette. So let's just move on to all of our quality factors, which we talk about with every eyeshadow palette. So number one is going to be pigmentation. So when you speak about pigmentation, this one here is really good with all the matte formulations. So I think this is something which you have to consider. Let's say you're going to get this palette, you can totally count on the matte eyeshadows in this palette. These work really good. So coming to the shimmers. The shimmers are amazingly pigmented. They look very foiled, everything, okay? But one of the biggest problem with the shimmer is that they don't really adhere well with each other. So let's say you want to layer shimmers, you can't do that. So they don't work really good with layering. The mattes layer really well, but the shimmers, they do not. So next up, we're going to talk about the workability of these eyeshadows. I would say honestly, the mattes, they work beautifully. Now coming to the shimmers and how they work. I'd say the shimmers are a little tough to work. They pick up really well on a brush and they deposit really well. But there's this very weird problem where they start to fade away. So when you apply it, like I did a look with this gold on my Instagram page. So when I did it, it looked really good. But by the time I was almost done with the look, I kind of had to start to layer the gold again and again, and it would just not layer. So what it's preferable to do is to apply a little bit of concealer or a little bit of, glitter glue, concealer or an eyeshadow base in that place, and then press the shimmer onto that. And then it's basically sealed for the entire day. So as we spoke about workability, I just wanted to speak about the brush which comes along with the same palette. So this brush is good. I really like the brush. This one works really well for shimmers. I really don't have any complaints on this one. This is basically a flat side of the brush. It's a little bit on the bigger side. You can't use this for your inner corner and all this stuff, but this works really well for, taking the shimmer and applying it on the lid. Coming to the other side, which is the blending side, this is like a very, it's kind of slightly pinched in, but it's more diffused towards the top, which makes it great for the crease and the outer corner. You need an added brush for doing the overall blending, but this works great for using it with any of your crease and your outer corner colors. It picks up product beautifully and it applies really well. It isn't too stiff. It has a good amount of movement. So I would definitely say that this isn't crap. It works really well with the palette. You don't have to dig into the pan to pick up the product, which makes it very easy to use it on the lid. And in fact, they do kind of like slightly crumble when you're picking it up with a brush. So you do get a lot of kickback in the pan with the shimmers. The mattes, they have zero kickback and the mattes have zero fallout, which is pretty amazing, right? Like compared to the darker shade, like when I used it, I had zero fallout. And I was literally sitting and blending and buffing it and kind of applying it and all stuff. I had zero fallout with the matte eyeshadows in this. But the shimmers, they fall out like it's got no other damn business. So you get a lot of fallout on your cheek, which you have to clean up. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is the most fun for you and the most irritating thing for me to do, which is the swatches. So let's just move on to the last factor about who would this be perfect for. If you're someone who likes cool tones, if you're not depending only on this palette for matte eyeshadows, if you're someone who loves to try out different formulations of shimmers, I think this would be a great one for you. These have muted colors, like it has a muted berry, it has greens but in the form of khakis, it has a cool tone purple, so it kind of has colors like that. So if you're looking to play with colors but you're not ready to experiment with too many colors, I I think this would be a good bet for it. So this completes the review and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do check out the launch, check out some of their products and let me know what are your thoughts on this. And so do give me a big thumbs up if you like this video and hit the subscribe button too and stay tuned, and until next time, bye.